From a shepherd dog sold for $37,000 to the world's most expensive horse sold for $70 million, including others like the first cloned pet, a cat sold for $50,000, a pigeon sold for $1.9 million, and many more. These are the 15 most expensive animals ever sold. But before we start, subscribe now before I become famous. Number 15. Kim the sheepdog sold for $37,000. This young female border collie puppy smashed records when she was auctioned off online just days before her first birthday. Hailing from Wales, Kim demonstrated extraordinary intelligence and skill at herding sheep and cattle. Her trainer only needed to demonstrate tasks once before Kim picked them up. By 12 months old, she could expertly gather entire herds on her own, the work of a dog years older. What made bidders open their wallets for this pup was her uncanny smarts and speedy learning, along with her coveted red fur. Red border collies are a hot commodity nowadays. Kim's sale beat the previous record of $26,000 held by Henna, another accomplished young red and white female border collie from Wales. Kim fetched nearly $40,000 from an anonymous farmer in England who plans to have her herd his valuable sheep. Number 14. Cloned cat sold for $50,000. In 2004, a Texas woman paid $50,000 to have her beloved 17-year-old cat Nikki cloned after he passed away. A California biotech company extracted DNA from Nikki and used it to produce an embryo that was implanted into a surrogate cat mother. This produced a genetic twin kitten named Little Nicky. When Little Nicky arrived at his new home, his owner was amazed by how identical he was to the original Nicky. He had the exact same personality, loved playing in water, and even had distinctive spots inside his mouth, just like Nicky did. The woman said it was like getting a cat clone of her best friend. The cloning of Little Nicky sparked heated debates about the ethics of cloning pets. Regardless, Little Nicky made history as the first ever commercially cloned pet. His birth proved cat cloning was possible, albeit still experimental. This biotech company closed in 2006 without becoming profitable, but Little Nicky paved the way for future advancement. Number 13. Stag beetle sold for $90,000. This impressive beetle commands astronomical prices due to its sheer size and rarity. Growing up to 5 inches long, the stag beetle is a gentle giant coveted by insect enthusiasts worldwide. The stag beetle's premium price tag stems from the difficulty in procuring these elusive insects. They inhabit dense forests in Japan and other parts of Asia, coming out only at night. Once found, their delicate handling and transport poses another challenge. As pets, they're low maintenance compared to other exotic insects. All the stag beetle needs is an occasional slice of fruit and a bit of moisture. A few can live up to 10 years, granting owners years of enjoyment. For serious collectors, no price is too high for these exceptional insects. The stag beetle's immense size, prehistoric appearance, and elusive nature combine to make it one of the most coveted insects. Its prestige in Japanese culture fuels demand as owners display them prominently as status symbols. Number 12. Cloned dog sold for $155,000. In 2009, a Florida couple paid $155,000 to have their beloved Labrador Retriever cloned after it died of cancer. The dog, named Sir Lancelot, was very special to Edgar and Nina Otto. When they learned that he had cancer, they had his DNA frozen and stored 6 years prior in hopes that one day cloning would be possible. After Lancelot passed away, they entered an auction for a chance to clone a dog. They won the auction, and Lancelot's DNA was sent to South Korea. There, scientists used his DNA to create an embryo that was implanted into a surrogate mother dog. 65 days later, Lancelot Encore was born. The cost of $155,000 may seem exorbitant, but the Ottos consider it money well spent. To them, Lancelot was priceless. The chance to welcome a puppy just like him into their home again was a dream come true. Cloning allowed them to recreate their irreplaceable companion. Lancelot Encore is the first commercially cloned pet dog. His owners say his personality and mannerisms are just like the original Lancelot. Number 11. Yorkshire Pig sold for $270,000. This Yorkshire boar shocked the livestock world when it sold for a jaw-dropping $270,000 at auction in 2014. That's over $267,000 more than the second highest selling pig in its class. So what made this piggy stand out from the rest? For starters, the Yorkshire or large white breed is renowned for its lean meat. Originally bred for bacon, the Yorkshire became a top choice for healthy pork. The winning bidder was wowed by the boar's flawless conformation and star quality. While pigs generally don't fetch multi-million-dollar price tags, premium specimens like this Yorkshire can sell for astronomical sums. Number 10. Posh Spice Cow, sold for $359,000. This British limousine heifer, named Willage Posh Spice, stunned the cattle world when she sold for a jaw-dropping $359,000 at an auction in Carlisle, England in January 2021. This shattered the previous world record for a limousine cow by over $200,000. So what made Posh Spice so special? For starters, she came from an elite bloodline of champion cows. Her mother was the famous Millbrook Ginger Spice, herself a record-setting cow. Posh Spice inherited her mother's good looks and shapely frame, which cattle breeders prize. At just 14 months old, she had the ideal traits like large loin depth and smooth, supple hide. One look, and you could tell she was destined for stardom in cattle breeding circles. Her eccentric name also grabbed attention, nodding to Posh Spice from the British pop group Spice Girls. This fun name bellied her seriously valuable genetics. When bidding opened, cattle breeders recognized a potentially once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. A bidding war ensued that shattered records once the hammer fell at the equivalent of $359,000. The buyers, two joint partnerships of British cattle farms, will likely use Posh Spice's eggs for in vitro fertilization. This will allow them to produce offspring inheriting her elite traits and spread her genetics far and wide. Number 9. Double Diamond, a sheep sold for $490,000. In August 2020, a 6-month-old Texel ram lamb named Double Diamond shattered sheep sale records when he was purchased for an astronomical $490,000 at an auction in Scotland. This hefty price tag stems from his prime genetics and breeding potential. Double Diamond was sired by the 2019 champion ram Garngor Craftsman, valued at over $85,000, and born to an elite ewe flushed with sperm from the $43,000 stud ram Lasucha Big Gun. He possessed muscling and conformation in the top 1% of Texel sheep, a breed prized for lean meat. An intense bidding war erupted between farmers vying for Double Diamond's genetic jackpot. The auction began at an opening bid of $13,000 and quickly skyrocketed as multiple buyers relentlessly outbid each other to secure this genetic goldmine. The bidding halted at a jaw-dropping $490,000, smashing the previous record, which sold for $306,000 in 2009. While the average sheep sells for $130, elite breeding rams like Double Diamond can fetch astronomical sums from farmers looking to breed champion lambs. His new owners, a consortium of 3 flocks, hope Double Diamond will sire many future champions and recoup their hefty investment through breeding feed. Number 8. Missy, a cow sold for $1.2 million. This Canadian Holstein blew previous bovine sales records out of the water when she went for over $1 million at auction in 2009. So what made this cow worth so much? Missy is a champion show cow, winning top honors at dairy competitions across North America. But Missy's more than just a pretty face. She also produces a whopping 50 pounds of milk per day, 50% more than the average cow. Additionally, Missy possesses coveted genetics. Experts estimate she can birth up to 75 calves in her lifetime. Each offspring could sell for tens of thousands thanks to Missy's flawless bloodline. Male progeny in particular are poised to fetch princely sums if they become top sires. 6 bulls sired by Missy could collectively bring in $3 million for sperm sales. Hence, pre-signed contracts worth hundreds of thousands came bundled with the cow at auction. Of course, there are no guarantees when breeding animals. Number 7. Bull sold for $1.5 million. In February 2019, a 1-year-old Angus bull sold for a jaw-dropping $1.15 million at an auction in North Dakota, smashing the previous world record of $800,000 for a bull sale. What makes this animal so special to command such an astronomical price tag? For starters, this bull has an impressive pedigree. He's sired by a former record-holding bull that sold for $750,000 in 2017. His mother was considered one of the greatest Angus cows of all time, producing over $5 million worth of progeny throughout her prolific career. Beyond his pedigree and superb genetics, this bull exhibits an ideal blend of traits that Angus breeders covet. According to the sale catalog, he has true herd bull authority with long, thick frames, square hips, a gentle temperament, and flawless structure. This combination of muscularity, soundness, and docility is rarely found in a single animal. The buyer recognized the bull's almost unparalleled potential to sire future generations of top Angus cattle. He retained 80% interest in the bull's sperm, which will be sold to cattle breeders worldwide. He described this bull as greatest breeding achievement to date, estimating only a 1% chance that a better bull could ever be produced. When all the stars align, no price is too high for breeders seeking that perfect animal. Number 6. Koi fish, sold for $1.8 million. This particular koi fish fetched the highest price ever paid for a live koi at an auction in Japan Japan in 2018. What made this fish so valuable? It was a champion showfish, having won grand champion at the prestigious All Japan Koi Show the previous year. Its vibrant red and white coloring resembling the Japanese flag was exceptional, a bright white base with large, clean red patches. The quality of the skin and fins was pristine. At 3 feet 3 inches long, it was a very large, mature koi. Its bloodline was impeccable, coming from a breeder with 100 years of experience selectively breeding these fish for their aesthetic qualities. The buyer was willing to pay top dollar because a fish of this caliber can produce up to 500,000 eggs per breeding cycle. Even if just 1% of offspring display equivalent quality traits, that's 5,000 valuable fish. Koi this size and lineage also continue to grow in value as they age. This fish could have kept competing and breeding for years, generating great profit for its new owner. While ordinary koi cost between $50 and $100, the pedigree of champion koi makes them status symbols in Japan. Perfection is difficult to achieve through selective breeding, so outstanding specimens are treasured. Number 5. Tibetan Mastiff, sold for $1.9 million. This impressive Tibetan Mastiff puppy was sold at a luxury pet fair in Japan in 2014 for a jaw-dropping $1.9 million. Tibetan Mastiffs are an ancient breed that originated in the Himalayan mountain, where they served as guardians and herders. They're known for being fiercely loyal and protective, hence their lion's blood nickname. The high price likely has to do with the breed's scarcity, especially purebreds like this one. As they become status symbols among China's elite, the demand has driven prices into the millions. Just a few years prior, another red Mastiff named Big Splash sold for a then record of $1.5 million. Beyond their good looks and pedigree, these dogs are intelligent and strong-willed. Prospective owners are drawn to their devoted nature and imposing presence. Number 4. New Kim, a pigeon sold for $1.9 million. This Belgian racing pigeon set a new world record in November 2020 when she was purchased by a wealthy Chinese buyer. The previous record was held by another Belgian racing pigeon named Armando, who sold for $1.4 million in 2019 to the same anonymous Chinese buyer. What made New Kim so valuable? She demonstrated elite racing abilities at a very young age. In 2018, when she was just 2 years old, New Kim was named Belgium's best young racing pigeon. She beat out thousands of other pigeons in competition that year. Her owner called her the best racing pigeon he has ever bred. Beyond her impressive racing record, New Kim's worth also lies in her breeding potential. Pigeon breeding is a lucrative business, especially in China, where the sport has exploded in popularity over the last decade. Wealthy Chinese pigeon enthusiasts are willing to pay huge sums to acquire champion Belgian racing pigeons like New Kim, eager to breed the next generation of winners. Since female pigeons can hatch up to 12 eggs per year, New Kim could produce many valuable offspring over the coming years. The previous world record holder, Armando, demonstrates how profitable pigeon breeding can be. Nicknamed the Lewis Hamilton of pigeons, Armando fetched $1.4 million in 2019, despite never winning a major race. But his successful bloodline made him a prized stud, with 7 of his offspring selling for an average of over $30,000 each the same day he sold. China's obsession with Belgian racing pigeons has transformed the sport. Winning purses at Chinese pigeon races now reach into the millions. Wealthy buyers have sent prices for European champions skyrocketing at auction, while Belgian working-class fanciers traditionally dominated the sport. Deep-pocketed Chinese industrialists are now its key players. Given the sport's incredible growth there, industry insiders say the million-dollar sale prices are only just taking flight. Number 3. Bluefin tuna sold for $3.1 million. The Pacific bluefin tuna is a massive and majestic fish that can grow over 9 feet long and weigh over 1,000 pounds. It's one of the largest, fastest, and most sought-after fish in the world. In January 2019, a single 612-pound Pacific bluefin sold for a record $3.1 million at the famous Toyosu Fish Market in Tokyo. The buyer was Kiyoshi Kimura, owner of the Sushi Zanmai sushi restaurant chain in Japan. Known as the Tuna King, Kimura is famous for paying astronomical prices for top-quality tuna at the annual New Year's auction in Tokyo. While the average bluefin sells for around $40 per pound, prices skyrocket at the year-end auctions as buyers compete for the best fish. Kimura's $3.1 million purchase more than doubled the previous record of $1.76 million he paid in 2013. He admitted he may have gotten carried away in the bidding, but said this tuna was the best quality he'd ever seen: fatty, fresh, fresh and delicious. Kimura plans to serve the prized fish at his restaurants to celebrate the new year. So why did this single tuna fetch such an astronomical price? Bluefin tuna is highly coveted for sushi and sashimi. Its red meat is remarkably fatty, giving it a soft, tender texture and rich, buttery flavor unlike any other fish. Overfishing has led to severe declines in Pacific bluefin populations, making giant mature tuna increasingly rare. The combination of scarcity and incredible taste drives the value of these fish to unbelievable heights. While the celebration and publicity of Kimura's record purchase promotes his business, conservationists warn it masks the urgent need to protect endangered Pacific bluefin. Number 2. Buffalo, valued at $12 million. This African Cape buffalo named Horizon is truly one of a kind. With massive 56-inch horns spanning over 4 feet wide, he towers over the average regular buffaloes, but it's not just his record-breaking size that makes Horizon priceless, it's his flawless genetics. When Horizon sires calves, they inherit his elite traits, tripling the value of the pregnant cows. Before Horizon, the previous most expensive buffalo was Mystery, who sold for $3.8 million in 2013, less than a third of Horizon's worth. Horizon now resides on a farm in South Africa co-owned by 4 businessmen who each hold a 25% stake. They paid $3 million just for that share of Horizon's breeding rights, which are capped at 10 cows per owner annually. But the investment is well worth it. Horizon passes down exceptional offspring, a rare achievement for prize bulls. By strategically breeding him with elite cows, Horizon's owners have a gold mine on their hands, producing calves with horn spans and genetics that fetch top dollar in South Africa's game hunting and tourism industry. Number 1. Fusaichi Pegasus, a horse sold for $70 million. This champion American thoroughbred racehorse won the 2000 Kentucky Derby and subsequently set a record price at auction. Fusaichi Pegasus won several major prep races in early 2000 before capturing the Kentucky Derby as the favorite, the first to do so since 1979. His Derby time was the 7th fastest ever at the time. With a record of 6 wins and 9 career starts and earnings of almost $2 million, Fusaichi Pegasus retired to stud. In 2000, Coolmore Stud shockingly paid over $70 million for his breeding rights, smashing records. Although he failed to meet expectations as a stallion, his historic sale price stands as a testament to his greatness on the racetrack. Although this has been the most expensive horse sale, there have been other very expensive ones like these 5. Justify sold for $60 million in 2018. This recent Triple Crown winner commanded a huge price for his stallion value after an undefeated 3-year-old season. Sharif Dancer sold for $40 million in 1983. This Irish Derby winner was purchased for stud duty in a landmark sale. The Green Monkey sold for $16 million as a 2-year-old in 2006, owing to his pedigree as a son of Stormcat. However, he failed to win a race. Seattle Dancer sold for $13.1 million in 1985 as a yearling, setting a record price for a young, unproven horse. Marcia sold for $7.5 million in 2017, an elite European filly purchased for breeding purposes after her racing career ended. By the way, did you know there's a fungus that turns ants into zombies? I promise I'm not exaggerating. If you want to see this and other even stranger animal behaviors, check out this video: 15 animal behaviors that are hard to explain.